Why people lose respect when you explain too much. Let your thoughts slow down. Now listen carefully. There is a quiet mistake that costs people respect, without them ever realizing they think they are being clear. They think they are being honest. They think they are being misunderstood, and just need to explain a little more. But every extra explanation does the opposite of what they expect. It does not build trust. It does not increase respect. Wait, can it? Because in human psychology, the need to over-explain signals something more powerful than words. It signals insecurity. Most people believe respect comes from being understood. They believe that if others grasp their intentions, their reasons, their logic, then respect will naturally follow. This belief is wrong. Respect does not come from explanation. Respect comes from certainty. And the moment you start explaining yourself too much, you quietly admit uncertainty about why. Our own position. Let's break this down. When someone explains excessively, they are not communicating facts. They are seeking validation. They are saying without words, please understand me. Please agree with me. Please don't judge me. And the human mind does something brutal with that signal. It categorizes you as lower status. Not because you are wrong. Not because your explanation lacks logic. But because high-status individuals do not rush to justify their existence. They assume legitimacy. People with authority speak less. Not because they know less, but because they do not feel the need to prove anything. Think about the people you respect most. They do not narrate their decisions. They do not defend their boundaries. They do not over-clarify their intentions. They stay. They pause. They move on. Now think about the opposite. The person who talks too much, explains every choice, anticipates objections, answers questions that were never asked. What do you feel when listening to them? Not admiration, not trust, subtle discomfort. Because over-explanation creates pressure, and pressure creates suspicion. The listener begins to wonder, why is this person trying so hard? Why do they need me to agree? And that question alone reduces respect. Here is a key psychological law. The person who explains the most is usually the O&E with the least power in the interaction. Power does not argue for itself. Power does not plead. Power does not chase understanding. It assumes it. This is why leaders give short answers. Why judges speak briefly. Why experienced professionals do not justify every Their silence fills the gaps. With authority, over-explanation often comes from fear. Fear of being misjudged. Fear of being disliked. Fear of being seen as wrong. And fear always leaks through behavior. Even when the words are confident, the energy is not. Humans do not respond to words alone. They respond to emotio, NAL signals, and excessive explanation signals anxiety. When you keep talking, adding details, clarifying again and again, you are saying, I am not comfortable with ambiguity. But ambiguity is where respect lives. People respect those who can sit calmly without being fully understood, because that calm signals self-trust. When you explain too much, You give others too much material. Every sentence becomes something they can question or use against you. You think you are protecting yourself. In reality, what? You are exposing yourself. This is why interrogators stay quiet, why negotiators pause, why manipulators wait for you to speak first. The more you explain, the more leverage you hand over. Silence protects power. Explanation disperses it. Most people do not want explanations. They want confidence. They want to feel that the person in front of them knows what they are doing, without needing approval. Over-explaining forces the listener into the role of judge. And once someone starts judging you, respect drops automatica. Why? High-status communication does not ask permission. It sets expectations. Now consider a common situation. One questions your decision, challenges your choice, or doubts your competence. Most people react instantly. They justify, they defend, they explain. But notice what happens. The challenger relaxes. As now they are in control. They got a reaction. They pulled you into their frame. You are no longer leading. You are responding. And in psychology, the one who responds is not in charge. A calm pause would have changed everything. Not silence forever. Just restraint. A simple statement. No defense. No emotional leakage. Confidence is not loud. It is economical. Not explaining does not mean being rude. There is a difference between clarity and overjustification. Clarity states the point. Overjustification tries to control percept. And people instinctively resist being managed. That resistance shows up as loss of respect. People value what feels scarce, and attention is a form of value. When you give excessive verbal attention, you reduce your perceived value. Minimal responses feel powerful because they create psychological gravity. Over-explanation removes mystery, and without mystery, there is no authority. When you explain your boundaries too much, you weaken them. A long explanation turns a boundary into a negotiation. A firm boundary does not explain itself repeatedly. It stands. Explaining too much often comes from over-empathy, but comfort does not create respect. Self-trust does. People respect those who can tolerate discomfort without collapsing into explanation. Here is the paradox. The less you explain, the more people assume you know. The more you explain, the more people. So, you are trying to convince yourself. This is not logical. It is psychological. And psychology always wins. So what should you do instead? Speak less. Say what is necessary. Pause. If they ask a genuine question, answer calmly. If they challenge without authority, do not defend. If they misunderstand, correct briefly, once. Do not see. Haze understanding. Those who want to understand you will. Those who do not were never persuaded by explanations anyway. Remember this. Respect is not built by being transparent. It is built by being grounded. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning, your emotions, your internal process. Privacy is power. Explanation is a currency. Spend it wisely. The most respected people are not the most expressive. They're the most composed. They let others discover their worth. So the next time you feel the urge to explain yourself again, pause. Ask yourself, am I clarifying? Or am I seeking approval? If it is approval, say nothing. Silence will do more than words ever could. Because people do not respect those who need to be understood. They respect those who understand themselves. If this changed how you see communication, subscribe to Dark Psychology Decoded. Because those who master the mind do not speak more. They speak less and mean more. Press the bell icon to get the latest videos on human psychology.